mean that the two former presidents do not pay tax entirely. It does not mean that they do not pay their taxes. The issue about the estate duty tax is talking about something entirely different. It's about the inherited properties that they got from their fathers and what they have today.
So that what happens to you? If you were to inherit, if you were to inherit anything from your old man, does it stop you from, you know, taking your tax obligations in that line?
No, it should not, because if you're going to pay inheritance tax so that you're able to get that property, then we are going to miss the mark.
Does that happen to everybody else?
That is exactly.
So if it happens to everybody else, why then should they be exempted?
You know, the Constitution was very clear. You know, if the estate duty tax exempted Jomo Kenyatta, and vis-a-vis in 1992 when it was again amended by Moi government to also include the President Moi, we're not saying that they're not supposed to pay tax. I totally agree with you, but this is purely on property. You know?
For me, I think it doesn't matter whatever it is on. What matters is if there's a tax obligation, be it on just buying a pen, everybody should take care of that.
And I think we are missing the point by the river, because we are speaking to Section 7 of the estate duty tax. This Section 7 only exempts these two families, the families of the Kenyatta family and the Moi family. The question is, today if Omulo were doing succession in the estate of his old man, he would meet his tax obligations. So what is so special about these two that they should not pay taxes? So to that extent, in my view, I think that the legislature must move with speed and correct that anomaly. And anyone who is saying that that is political, I think equally is missing the point by the river.
Okay, this river, but Omulo, before we get to this river, this is, you referenced the law. I have it pulled up here.
Thank you.
Let's just see what it says exactly before I get into the Nyandarua Senator Methu and what he says about the purchase of banks and the taxes that were exempted. So just a quick second. So the proposal is by the Nandi senator, who you said, Omulo, you said is acting as in his rights as a Kenyan, and not necessarily speaking for the Kenya Kwanza administration. But I see here Senator Samson Cherargei retweeted this. Under the law, when you retire as a president, you are given some government support like vehicles, security, money, and an office. But the former president is still active in politics. He's not retiring, and therefore the government should withdraw the government vehicles that he owns. So that's a different conversation, and you didn't have a chance to comment on that, Ascon. So I will give you that opportunity in a minute. But first, let's look at the proposal. He's proposed an amendment of Section 7.3 of the Estate Duty Act that exempts former presidents Kenyatta and Moi, including their estates, from paying taxes contrary to Article 210 of the Constitution. Instead, the vulnerable should be exempted. And the provision in question, not this one, is it this one? Yes, and this is Part 3, imposition of estate duty exemptions and allowances. And this section, that is now Section 3, states the section shall not apply to His Excellency Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, nor to His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi.
What did you feel when you read that?
I'm just curious. Was this, you know,
no, I mean, that's very...
Was this sounds restricted to me to the two? Does it extend to their families? Okay, I know the families are the ones who benefit, right, from the inheritance.
But you know, now the question would be, what is the percentage? If you're told that the Kenyatta family is supposed to inherit anything from the former president Mzee Kenyatta, how big is that? That should be the question.
But let's say we amend
with that
it.
In mind.
But Ascon, let's say we amend it, right? The law does not apply retrogressively, if I understand correctly, or does it, Kidi Mwaga?
It doesn't.
It does not.
Yes.
So,
sorry.
I mean, what effect does this exemption have today?
The exemption is today as we speak. Of course, the Moi family are dealing with the question of succession of their estate. So it means that the public coffers the taxman will have something from the Moi family.
Okay.
And I don't think that is a bad thing. Yes.
All right. So